Greetings, lords and ladies. I am the Indeterminate Vagabond, else known or better known as Stardusk. I guess you can call me either or. I thought starting a fresh new channel, a fresh new name, that's kind of referential and kind of descriptive might be nice. But regardless, Stardusk, the Indeterminate Vagabond, both work. And yeah, this is a new channel, a brand new channel. This is a little bit of an intro just to give you some background for myself and ideas. I had no idea that people were interested in things like etymology. Well, etymology is a fairly common interest, but maybe the history of language, how language and culture evolve, and things of that nature. And thus, I'm still in a bit of shock that there seems to be a fair amount of interest in this sort of thing. And at the time of making my response to Gopher's video about the pronunciation of the word lich, I was a bit discombobulated and out to lunch. I was really tired. It was late. Hadn't eaten all day. But hopefully I'm a bit more coherent now. This is a bit rambly. I apologize. This is just my intro. So, as I said, I have a background. I was a former, not anymore, in my days of youth, as a specialist in Germanic languages. Specifically, I studied mostly Anglo-Saxon, Old English, and Old Norse, but I also studied other things like Old High German and the history, of course, related to this, because you can't really study the medieval period. You can't study philology. Specifically, I was a philologist. A philologist is someone who studies both the literature and the language in certain contexts. It involves a lot of sort of reconstruction of words and things of that nature. Anyway, that was kind of my background for quite some time, and so much of the knowledge has stuck. I'm still reasonably formidable in these now dead languages, although quite rusty, but it certainly more than suffice for the purposes of explanation. So that's a bit of my my background. I also have a more general sort of language background. I am multilingual, although I was born in the United States. I originally hail from New York. I've lived kind of all over the world, although in the present day I do inhabit the domain of Germany. Okay, so that's kind of a bit of a background, and I have a couple of ideas. Language is such a huge topic that to do this, I would literally need to talk about language, I would require multiple elven lifetimes, that is, thousands of years, which I don't have, unfortunately. Immortality would be pretty useful. I'd even sacrifice my mortality to become a vampire if Harkon offered it to me, and then he would try to kill me. But anyway, so I'm going to be focusing, I think, on this channel mostly on sort of the history of language, sometimes the history of words, the culture, and how that kind of relates to the present, and some other stuff as well. And for the starter videos that I have planned, in my head at least, I want to do kind of a long, several-part series on the history of English. I think a lot of people might find that interesting. The reason for that being pretty simple. I mean, there are many English native speakers. I'm a native speaker of varying sorts. English is used as a second language the world over. And I think for many people it might be interesting to find out how it all started and how it evolved and how it became what it is today. Because all of us are running around speaking this language, English, and I think few of us, to my chagrin, and maybe to your chagrin as well, know where it all came from and how it came to be what it is, and how it is that Gopher has that accent, being a Mancunian that he is, as he's revealed to me, and how I have this accent, and how you have your accent, and all of that stuff. Things of that nature. And but I think for the very first episode, if you will, I'm going to make it a bit Skyrim related. And why? Because, well, that's how it kind of got started, this channel. And I am a huge Skyrim aficionado. There's no doubt about that. If those of you on my Steam list who know me on Steam, I mean, I have a lot of hours plugged in there, maybe even more than Gopher. I don't know what his Steam hours are, but anyway, I have a lot. I like Skyrim a lot, and what I thought I might do for the first episode, the first video, which hopefully, if the gods are with me, and they seem to favor me, they seem to be casting their favor upon me for the simple reason that the interest appears to be there for this sort of channel. I will do something Skyrim related, but also something language related and history related. I will talk about Germanic runes and Old Norse literature, a bit of Viking history, and the language itself. And then that in the backdrop as it relates to Skyrim, because Skyrim has that sort of Nordic flavor to it, and there are a lot of things from Nordic language. For example, in the Draugr, which is a very American way of pronouncing it. In modern Icelandic, which I did study for quite some time, that would be Dreigr, and in Old Icelandic it would be more like Draugr. But anyway, just as an example. So that kind of thing, and how it relates, and how legitimate and genuine it is. And I think the rune thing is interesting as well, because of, well, shouts, and the rune. You always, when you pick up a new word of power, you learn it from a wall that has runes on it, and what runes actually are, and things of that nature. So that's probably, it can't probably be the first video, and thenceforth I will begin my sort of history of the English language, which probably will be somewhat less Skyrim related, at least directly, which I apologize for, but it's awfully difficult when talking about these things to sort of constantly link it into Skyrim. Beloved a game as it is, and I do love Skyrim. It's just a fantastic game in so many respects, and the modding community is amazing. And let me say, this is the first opportunity I've had to say it to large members. I am not a modder. I wish I were. I have so many ideas. My mind is just overflowing, and overabundance of ideas, which is always the easy part. And I don't know papyrus, and I don't know textures, so it's kind of I'm at a deadlock in that regard. I have so many ideas, but I wanted to just express my utmost gratitude to all the modders out there, Gopher included. I do use this Predator Vision mod, which is a bit bugged. You probably might notice now that you have to, once you become a werewolf or a vampire, you have to do a kind of a clean save. You have to kind of uncheck it or untick it, and then load again. And for those of you having problems with Predator Vision, and then it works. But anyway. This seems to be a common problem, and to all the modders who make Skyrim just amazing. I mean, the game is very good by itself, but it's the modders that really bring it to life, and it's just an incredible game because of that. And I don't know if he'll ever watch this. I hope so, but I don't know if you know Tendo3. He is the true lord amongst lords of modders. He created the mod Skyrim Redone, which is a mod for me that is just it's bordering on the ineffable. I can hardly describe it. Well, I can't play Skyrim without it. Who could play Skyrim without Skyrim Redone? The depth, the complexity of the perk system, how customizable it's become by means of Skyrim Redone. And mind you, he's just started working on a new project. I mean, if I were young, I'd go back to learn all these computer coding languages and do something of similar bent. But anyway, yeah, Tendo, if you ever get this or ever see this, thank you so much. I know I've bugged you with PMs and what have you. Aber echt herzlichen Dank. He's German, so I'll just briefly. Vielen Dank, du bist wirklich. Es gibt keine Worte. Es gibt gar keine Worte, um dich zu beschreiben. Aber vielen Dank. Thank you so much for Skyrim Redone and all the modders out there. So yeah, this is the beginning of this channel, just an intro, and hopefully by the end of the coming weekend, I will have a video up on the subject I talked about, kind of Germanic ruins, Old Norse, bit of the history of the language, and how it kind of relates to Skyrim. And the only question, I mean, all the knowledge is there, is just the kind of format I'll use. In the past, in kind of social commentaries, I often use kind of just stills. I think I probably will make it a little bit more interactive, but it's going to be mostly audio with I imagine with pictures I'm referencing. But for those of you who appreciate my voice, hopefully that won't be too painful to listen to. And thank you very much for the encouragement to that you've given me to go forth and make this, to create a new channel. And hopefully it will be reasonably successful, and I deem success, or I judge success by measure of the level of interest showed in it. So, the God's willing, I will go forth and prosper in this regard, and you can prosper by the knowledge gained, and we can all be happy and merry. And anyway, so thanks very much. Thank you, Gopher, High Lord Gopher. Thank you, High Lord Tindo. Thanks to all the people who seem to have showed fair degrees of encouragement. And I look forward to seeing you all on this channel. And yeah, so everyone, take care. May the gods watch over you, and I will see you or hear from you, or I will speak to you more literally soon. Bye-bye.